Hi, my name is Jake Briggs. Today I'll be doing an informative speech over cattle. My goal is to inform my audience to understand the positive effects of cattle in the United States. There are many forms of cattle operations, such as commercial and stocker operations, as well as cattle that are show quality, or in other words, higher quality cattle than just your regular commercial operation. The cattle industry in the United States alone makes about $95 billion annually. That number has increased every year for about the past decade. There are also numerous commercials supporting cattle production and consumption. Cattle are also great for the environment. Cattle, in combination with wildlife management on grazing lands, have resulted in better species survival than when these activities are practiced separately. Cattle also produce hundreds of thousands of jobs a year, not just on ranches and farms, but in packing industries and feedlots. There are so many forms of cattle operations in the U.S. that people don't even think of. These other forms of cattle operations are just as important to the industry as your typical commercial operations. One of these forms is the registered cattle, which can be in breeds such as Black Angus, Red Angus, Shorthorns, Charolais, and others. These cows are not only used for beef, but more specifically, your show cattle. Our show cattle have had a major impact in the cattle market. These animals bring 4 or 5 times the amount your normal animals bring. You also have your dairy cows, which produce the majority of our milk and cheese in the U.S. Your dairy cows also provide some meat when they are too old to produce milk anymore. Other advantages the cows have in the U.S. are the money side. Cattle make money not only by producing meat, show, and dairy products. Thousands of dollars are spent every year on commercials to entice people to go out and eat beef in restaurants or grocery stores. You also have the export side of cattle too. The U.S. is the largest exporter in cattle in the world. The U.S. sent around 11 to 14% of the beef raised in the U.S. elsewhere. They also produce thousands of jobs each year. They have workers in the packing plants and feedlots. You also have people working on these farms and ranches taking care of the cattle. Without cattle, you would see a small decrease in the workforce. Cattle are also good for the land. Cattle are mostly grazed on land not used for crop production. Grazing cattle can minimize the intrusion of non-native plants that you don't want on your land. This also decreases the risk of wildfires on these lands by eating down the amount of flammable material on that land. Around 85% of the land cattle used for grazing in the U.S. is not suitable for growing crops. This more than doubles the area that can be used to produce food. Cattle also serve a valuable role in the ecosystem by converting the forages humans can't consume into a nutrient-based food. In the end, I think most people would agree with me that the money and other aspects generated in the cattle industry are extremely important to the United States. The money that it produces this country, as well as the jobs, far outweigh the disadvantages it may have. The cattle industry has grown over the years and should continue to grow, helping the economy. This is the end of my speech. I hope you enjoyed it.